Alright, so I finally get a chance to test out these coolers. Previously as explained, this these coolers are going to be used for an ITX build. I have a 2 variant of these Thermalright low profile coolers. One of them is not too low profile, but it still stands out to me just the way how it mounts. You could put different type of fans on it that actually benefit its profile in terms of like the height. And obviously you could do some calculation yourself by looking at the manufacturer website and look at its total height, and then you can minus and subtract the length of these coolers just by using, just rough math. I mean, this guy over here, you stick that in there, you get that height over there. But my goal was actually to do this in my ITX build. I think I might get away using this combination that just give me enough room. But if this doesn't work, I will actually use this combination. But with that said, I'm just very curious of its performance based on the cooler thickness and the fan thickness. I already pre-installed the brackets so I can, quickly swap them out. So now without you guys gonna watch this, we're gonna mount the cooler and we're gonna come right back. Alright, I'm actually gonna move the rig over a little bit. I'm gonna show you my screen while we're doing this. Not really zoomed in or anything, but well, it will do. So over here, I have all set up, which I'm gonna just basically do is run a 10 minutes throttle test on Cinebench R23, and this will actually give me the benchmark for out of the box performance of this cooler with no fan profile setup, basically default fan profile, and just let it run for 10 minutes. Just basically see how it performs out of the box and just see how loud it is, right? So I'll show you guys after 10 minutes what the temperature looks like. Right back. So I'm in the first test of this first run here. I'm already noticing something pretty interesting. I'm running a 5700X on this. It is an older CPU, but I figured for a low power ITX build, especially for my wife, I really don't need something that crazy, right? So I picked that, and it's on sale on Boxing Day or Black Friday, I mean. And it's basically running Cinebench at 57 degrees, like topped out at 57 degrees, and the fan is, it's whooshing, but it's not super loud. In normal usage, you're never gonna hear this, and this is stressing for how long? For 4 minutes in. Yeah, very interesting. I'll come right back after the test. Alright, we're just coming up finishing the RD3 benchmark on this first test. And it's looking very good already for the cooler. For last gen Ryzen, Ryzen 7 5700X. The temperature only peaked out at 59 degrees, and really, I have this captured on the log, and it's not, breaking a sweat at all, like cooling this thing. So as this is going, I'm actually going to do something that nobody should do. It's actually changing this on the fly. So there. Ooh. Let's see what the temperature looks like while the fan is disconnected. I got this all plugged. While the cooler has no fan on it, is idling. I do see the temperature slowly creeping up, about 38, just hitting 39, hitting about it's very slow actually climbing. I would think it would go a lot quicker. 40 degrees. Just let it sit idle like this. Very entertaining to watch. Now I'm gonna plug in back the fan. I'm also doing this, hot, because I'm on an open test bench. You shouldn't be doing this. In your case or anything like that, you might end up shorting something or hitting something. But since I'm a seasoned expert, I'm gonna do this, not turning the computer off. So these are very easy to mount. Just a little clip. They don't do crazy tensions. Big thick boy, thick fan. So already seen the temperature drop to 37 degrees, 32 degrees, 37.2, 37, 36. Alright, I'm actually gonna reset the max minimum temperature. I'm gonna lock this test to 2, save this, and we're gonna do another test. And just on the record, this is running about 12,787 score. I'm gonna do that another 10-minute test. We'll come back, show you the results. So I'm about 2 minutes in this test. As you notice, I did swap out the fan without turning off the computer. I think the BIOS haven't really picked up the fan RPM, or at least adjust to the new fan speed. It's running actually considerably louder than previously. So I'm actually gonna stop this test, reboot the computer, and hopefully the fan profile will actually pick up. Oh, and there's an update. Well, we'll come back. So I reboot the PC. I'm gonna redo the log, and we're gonna see whether or not it changes anything. And to be honest, I'm actually not a fan, no pun intended, but not a fan of this new this black fan actually. It's considered to be a little bit loud in my opinion. So we're gonna do the 10-minute test on this thing one more time, and once it's finished, we'll be back. Alright, we're just about finishing up this second R23 test on the same cooler but the thicker fan that came with the other pack, and that came stock with this cooler. Now, I personally think if you run this particular fan, do not run it with the default fan profile. Even though if you look at the temperature that we're getting about, 57 degrees max. Yeah, it's about like 3 degrees difference between this 25 millimeter fan, right? So oops, it's only about 3 degrees. I will actually run this fan because it's like fan profile for the speed for what it is. It's actually very well matched with the cooler, so I wouldn't want to upgrade this unless you have a different fan, obviously, which in my case I do have another fan I want to try just to check, for the performance or the sound performance. So the fan I'm going to be using are one of my old Arctic 120 millimeter fan that you can see is a little bit used and a little bit dust on it, but hopefully it runs a little bit more quieter than this. Just unfortunate that like this particular fan that came with the black version was this guy over here. It's just too loud for my taste. So I'm gonna actually run a run 2.5 on this one with this cooler, or sorry, with this fan, and see what happens. So I'm just gonna actually shut it down. And we'll be back. Alright, I got the other fan installed now, and I'm gonna start capturing the data. Now this is gonna be 2.5. I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna start the run. I'm gonna see my initial impression of the fan, of the loudness of this particular setup. Oh my gosh, it's so much better. It's so much quieter than this stock fan that came with the other cooler. Like, yeah, I know the price is one thing, but if you had to buy this one, if you had to buy this combo, I would definitely suggest for you to swap out this fan. Like, just from the initial test of the sound. I'm gonna do this test for another 10 minutes, just like all the other ones. Oopsies. Yeah. And basically see what happens. It's so much quieter already. I think the temperature might be a little bit worse, but hey, we'll come back. Alright, we're just finishing this test here. I'm definitely getting a better score from this thicker version of the fan. It's about 13,163, which is not that much. It's about maybe 300-400 points above the original setup. In terms of like noise, it's not that noisy. I think it's on par with the original setup. I do think it has a lower pitch noise though. I think it's more comfortable to most people, especially if you were to install this into a case, and you might need to add a little more pressure. So I've captured everything, and yeah, and it's peaked at 59 degrees. So really, it's not that huge of a difference in terms of like performance. Well, I'm gonna actually shut this thing off, and I'm gonna install the other cooler on this thing, and we'll be right back. Alright, took me a while to get this thing going. I don't know why the RAM stopped working. I have to like pop it out and put it back in, and then try to swap out RAM, try to reset BIOS. Well, it's back booting again with this original RAM stick, so really, I really don't know why it's doing that. But with that said, we're gonna continue our test based on the cooler. So now the low profile one, the low profile one, it's taken out. The black one has went on the computer, and I have basically set everything as per normal. I'm gonna start doing the stress test. Now I'm gonna name this 3 because I'm using the bigger cooler but thinner fan, and I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna start record, and we'll come back in 10 minutes to see its performance. To be honest, I don't expect too much of a difference. Yeah, see you in 10. Oh, we're about 30 seconds finished testing, but I'm already seeing a tack of difference between this bigger cooler and the lower one. Obviously, you're gonna see performance difference, but in terms like just how I feel like it's quieter. The temperature is lower, but to be honest, for the form factor wise, because this is way thinner, I think this is actually a better buy if you need the actual like the low profileness. And to be honest, like, yeah, okay, the big one, it's you know, it runs a little bit quieter, it runs a little bit lower temperature, but I can't seems to justify to say, hey, this bigger one's is way better. You know what I mean? Like for what it is. I'm just finish up the last bit of tests here. From the low profile cooler, the best score as I was getting was 13163, right, from this Ryzen 7 5700X, which is the budget CPU. We got it from Black Friday. Really budget friendly, lovely CPU, and sure enough, I'm getting a higher score off this bigger cooler from you know, from the same fan but just bigger cooler. I'm getting 239 for its performance score. But honestly, if you need to go a little bit lower, I would go for the low profile one, just because, like, for the form factor, for its, you know, performance, like, price wise they're about the same price. And if I need like this low profileness, I'll go for this. This is a no-brainer. Buying this is definitely no-brainer. Go for this. Because honestly, this bigger cooler, it does perform quite a bit better. I won't say quite a bit, just a tad bit better, but it is definitely higher. Like when you get to this height, this particular height, you're running into, you know, competitions that are not this type of form factor. You know, the tower coolers, the small tower coolers, and from, you know, Noctua and all that stuff are just not that much higher than this. But in term versatility, I think this is still quite good, you know, for what it is. I have to swap out the fan just to see its stock performance will be like. But we'll come back in a bit after when I swap out the fan. Man, I'm, you know, after putting this fan on, I'm just not a fan of this particular fan. Like, it's very, very loud. Obviously from a performance perspective, I might not be able to tell much of a difference, but from its just the fan noise, it's actually really, really annoying. It's whooshy. It's I wouldn't say, but like, I just don't like that particular sound for what it is. But I am gonna go and set up and capture data. Right, for this one, I'm gonna name it 4. And I'm gonna start the test. And I also had a little bit of rattling noise. It is a brand new fan too. It is just loud. I'm not a fan of this. And to be honest, if you have the money, if you want to buy this particular cooler, I would go buy a cheap Arctic fan to pair with it. It will be a better bet compared to using a normal fan. I'm just not a fan of that. But, you know, but for the price, still not gonna, nobody can beat that, because I'm in Canada. This thing is selling for 37 Canadian dollar, which is right now, if you convert it to USD, is you're looking at like maybe 25 bucks. You know, 26, 27 bucks, depends on the exchange rate. But yeah, well, I'm gonna come back and show you the results, and then we're gonna see you in 10 minutes. Alright, we're almost done here. Man, I can, like, if it's me, for the price, for the size, I wouldn't buy this, just because the stock fan is so noisy. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it definitely have a higher score. In this particular one, it gets 13,222 score from R23, and the peak temperature is about 57 degrees, which is very decent for, you know, for the price. But I wouldn't buy this. I wouldn't buy this fan. I just don't like this fan. This fan is just not good for this particular usage. It's just really, really loud. Yeah, I especially for a small form factor PC, you're probably gonna notice it more, especially it's gonna sit on a desk. Yeah, I would actually shy away using this particular fan for just I would get a cheaper fan and like use one of these Arctic cooling fans and then use this. Yeah, it's gonna cost you another, you know, $5 or $10 Canadian more to get it, but to pair with this combination, it's just so much better. With that said, I'm gonna swap out the fan. This is gonna be on my last test using the Arctic cooler fans to run down this cooler. Well, I got that Arctic cooling fan installed, as you can see, and it's already quieter. I would go for this fan. I wouldn't go, like, if I had to lay these out, like in terms of like quietness, the Arctics would be first. Their low profile fan would be the second, and this particular fan would be the third. And I wouldn't even use this fan. In terms of like performance, this is like within like 5% of each other. And for the profile, I would go for the center fan. That's no brainer. And just to capture all the information, I'm gonna start the test. I'm gonna capture this as 4.5. And then we're gonna pop our R32, sorry, R23. And we're gonna go for the 10-minute run and start. So much quieter. It is night and day. Well, we'll come back in 10 minutes and see the results. Alright, the final result is coming in 10 seconds. Now, just looking at the score here, or the capture, the temperature peaked out about 59.2 degrees. The score just about to come up on the last run here. Like, I would definitely use this combo, even though the other one would actually be more performance. They give you 2 degrees cooler in terms of like temperature, but the fan quietness on this fan is just phenomenal. Like, I got this in the whimp of, you know, thinking it's just a cheap fan. You know, I'm gonna just grab a whole bunch for a case for whatever, right? And you know, never actually test its quietness. And in terms like scores, 13,255, not bad. In a little bit, I will actually insert a chart. You can see, and basically indicates all the temperatures. Now, if it's for me, and I have basically a size restriction, which that means that I have to go for a low profile cooler, this will be definitely the go-to. And for what it is with this stock fan, it's definitely the best combo of the whole bunch. Now, if you got a little bit more room to work with, I would, you know, go for the combination of this cooler and the Arctic fan, or It depends on where you're running. When, to be honest, this is like between the lowest profile to the the quietest fan. There's only about maybe like a 5% difference in terms like cooling performance on the 5700X. So if you're running something like this, honestly, any of the combination will be good enough for you. And you don't need to go any bigger cooler for a 5700X. The only thing you have to worry about is the temperature, not the temperature, but the noise. The noise is the biggest concern. But beyond that, really, they're cheap coolers. Grab a cheap fan and you're all set. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video of me testing different cooler and fans combination, and stay tuned with my next test, which I'm actually gonna put these coolers up to a test again on a 13900K. Hopefully you guys will enjoy.